How are you?
Not bad. Did I message you before?
I'm not sure. Maybe, but
Maybe it's the Chicago one.
I don't know. I get messages a lot from people, so it's possible that you did, and I just don't remember.
Yes, I think it was the Chicago guy. But what do you think about atheist churches?
Oh, maybe you did ask me that. I do recall that question before, and I just don't see the point in them. What would atheists have a church about?
I mean, for one, to fight psychosis and haven't you run into Christians where like you can't even talk to them? Like, does it maybe seem a little bit like mental illness to you?
I think that there are Christians that struggle with mental illness just like everybody else, and sure, I think that their religious beliefs can help make it worse, but I don't see how that answers why an atheist would need a church.
I mean, I think it could help with that. I mean, especially for people like atheists who were in it, and then plus Christians leaving the churches. And then also like useful stuff. I mean, I think it could be a valuable resource if we had like churches that actually help people instead of scamming them. And I mean, even the Christian churches, like I'll have to concede that in some cases they do like even though they're like basically a scam, in some cases they do actually help people.
So let me ask you, what exactly are you calling a church? Because a church is a place where people get together and worship their religion or deity, and atheist doesn't fit that. I'm not against like community centers and stuff like that that are able to provide resources for people from a non-religious standpoint. I think that that's cool and definitely needed. Um, I definitely see the value in community and being a part of a group, but I don't see how or why that would be labeled a church.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things we can call. I mean, I would. Well, what do you think we should call just a center, like atheist center?
Well, so for example, the one that pops into my head is I know that in Austin, Texas, there's the atheist community of Austin, and that's literally just a center that provides resources for people. It provides a community for people. They have a library where anyone can just go and research and read stuff up. They do radio programs from there and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it would just be called whatever we want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, church to me, like it implies religion, which and I think we need to be more aggressive, honestly, like because churches are tied to evangelism and maybe some
Yeah,
marketing to
I
really
don't think we
help
need
people.
to. I wouldn't say we have to do any of that at all. That sounds a little too much. All right. Well, he left. Yeah, no, I would disagree that atheists should go out and try to make other people atheists. I think that that's insane. But I do think that it is important to provide a place for community and being able to talk with other people, a place where they can learn, access resources if they need it. For food pantries, clothing, all that stuff. But I don't see why that has to be called a church. All right, guys, if you're a Christian or a Bible believer, go ahead and hit the request. Let's have a conversation. This says recent guest, so I don't know. We'll see. Hey, how are you doing?
Hello there. So you're an
Awesome.
atheist, huh?
Yeah, and you're a Christian?
Correct. So why are
All
you
right,
an
awesome.
atheist?
I'm just not convinced that God or gods exist.
So
So
since you
what?
have a particular mental state, that means there's not a God?
I never said that there wasn't a God. I answered why I don't believe it.
Okay. So
Do you
does your not being convinced uh, have anything to do with there not being a God?
I literally just said I don't know if there's a God or not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't believe in a God because I have not been shown that a God exists. The same reason
Okay.
why I don't believe in magic or fairies or pixie
All
dust
right.
or any of that.
All right. So that's my point. So if you have a
Okay.
mental state whereby you have a lack of belief in a God, then somehow that mental state somehow negates that there is a God?
Again, that's not what I said. Does your mental state that you do think that mean that there is? No, it doesn't.
Great. So,
So
with
that
regards
that, that
to
brings
a
us to
God,
the evidence
how?
of the claims. So
Yeah.
what
So
is
with
what is
regards
your
to a God,
evidence that a God exists?
okay. Well, so then it's evidence that you need in order to be convinced.
Yes, I would like some good, solid evidence for my beliefs. I would like what
Uh,
I believe to be true, and I believe that the best way to do that is to have good and solid evidence to back up your
okay.
claims. So, what is the solid evidence that you have to back up your claim that God exists?
Okay. Now, with regards to God, what's your understanding of a God?
Sure. When I think of a God, I think of like a supernatural being that either holds infinite power or the majority of power of anything else in existence.
Okay. So, in other words, like an intelligent agent, a mind that has the power and ability to instantiate and impose all states of affairs and doesn't have a beginning like you and I?
I don't know if it has a beginning or not. My understanding of God doesn't necessarily include no beginning. Just pretty much the apex predator of both the supernatural and the natural world. Nothing can beat it.
Well, if it didn't have a beginning, I mean, if it did have a beginning, then it would be contingent on something else. And therefore, it would not be the one that's instantiating and imposing all facts.
Okay,
Therefore, it
but
couldn't be God.
okay. Well, that's your definition. I don't see a God that way. There are many God myths and stories where gods have beginnings. So I don't know if a God does exist if that wouldn't also be the case.
Yeah,
So
but you're referring to like Odin and Thor and Zeus. Those particular individuals wouldn't be instantiating and imposing all states of affairs because they had a beginning and they're products of the universe. They're
but they
contingent
are
on something
gods.
else.
They
Therefore, they
they are
wouldn't
gods.
be. Yeah, but they you could call them like superheroes or something, but they wouldn't be by definition God with regards to he who instantiates and imposes all states of affairs. They're
Okay,
not doing that.
that's your definition. I'm answering it from my perspective of they would be gods because because they are the top dog of their supernatural realms as well as the natural realms. They hold all this
Okay.
power. The same thing that I am holding to the biblical God. You're taking this from your perspective that they must have no beginning and that they must be the one that controls all things in every state. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Show me your evidence that is the case.
Now, yeah, because in order for it to be the case, for a true God to be God, it would have to meet those attributes because what you pointed out doesn't meet those attributes because they're not instantiating and imposing all states of affairs, all facts. In other words, they're not the singular ultimate thing that's dictating all possibility and impossibility. So whoever is doing that would be God.
I understand the difference of our definitions. Now, please show your definition is actually true.
Sure,
That's
sure.
that's what I'm asking for.
Now, you don't believe in the God that I just now defined, right?
No, I don't believe in the God that I
Okay.
defined either. I
Because
think that
you don't
I
see any
think that they're yeah.
evidence for the God I defined.
Yeah, I don't see any evidence for Odin either.
How did you determine that all the things that you perceive to exist isn't evidence for the God that I've just now defined?
Isn't evidence? I don't see how
Yeah,
they are.
is not evidence.
Can you help me see it? How is my TV remote evidence for God?
Well, how did you determine it's not?
I because the evidence I do have shows me that it was the invention of another individual human being, and that's it.
And that human being is contingent upon something else, right?
And you're gonna say it's God. How do we get there?
Well, hold on. You would agree that human being is contingent upon something else, right?
Upon the existence of other human beings, so that they could reproduce and make this person. Sure.
And all those human beings in totality is contingent upon something else, right?
And this gets us to God. How?
Well, I can get you there, but I'm saying in your worldview, one thing is contingent upon another, and then another, and then another. What is the ultimate grounding for all contingencies in a not God world?
In the sense of what started everything to cause this, I have no idea,
Well, not
and I
simply
make no
that
claim
which
to it.
started it, but that which grounds in it, the thing itself, which is existing presently.
Yeah.
What is
What
the
do you mean
singular
by
ultimate
grounds it
thing
in the thing
that
itself?
is responsible for all possibility and impossibility, and instantiates and imposes all states?
I don't know what the thing is that grants all impossibility or possibility.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I never
So
made
then,
a
with
claim
regards
to
to
it.
all
So
things that you perceive to exist that you've already admitted, you don't see it as being evidence for the God that I've defined, but you do see it evidence for it in naturalism. Uh, then
Sure.
you can't ground naturalism in your not God worldview. Because ultimately, if you attempt to
What?
ground it
Okay.
on something that's ultimate,
I understand what you're saying, but the
yeah,
thing is, I'm left by default with naturalism unless someone can show me the evidence to a supernaturalism. So, like, you can claim XYZ about whatever you want, that's cool, but unless you can actually show the evidence of how you get there, then that's just a cool opinion, bro.
sure. Well, you
So,
wouldn't be there
how.
by default, because the thing is, you don't have any evidence for naturalism being the ultimate cause for everything. So you wouldn't
We
have
have no reason to
naturalism
think
being the
that it's
default.
anything else. We, we
But I could go
only
ahead and
have we only have naturalistic expectations and explanations.
you don't have any ultimate explanation for anything natural in the not God world. So anyway,
Suddenly,
but I can
it's
get you
not
to
natural.
God.
Well, wait, wait,
Yeah, I
wait,
can get
wait,
you to
wait,
God.
wait, 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 wait. If we can only see natural explanations for things, why would we suddenly just assume it's not natural anymore?
Yeah, because with regards to natural, you're going ahead and claiming that it's natural, and the cause of it is natural, and the cause of that is natural, on and on and on.
As far as
But
we
you
are
do,
able to tell.
with regards to the ultimate, with regards to anything and everything, if it's not a natural that is the cause of everything, right? Then that means anything that you point to as being natural, any intermediates, that in and of itself is not natural. Do you understand that? Like, for example,
I
the
understand, but
conversation we're
again,
having right now,
but you're
you
just
may
bringing
think,
up a what if, and you're not actually addressing what I said. If all the evidence we see shows naturalism, and we're saying, hey, we're not quite sure about this far back, but from the evidence we have, most likely it's natural. You're suddenly coming in going like, but what if it isn't? Okay, cool. What
no,
if it
no, you don't
isn't?
understand what I
Hold
just
on, hold
said.
on. And we're saying, okay, what if it isn't? What is the
No,
evidence?
you're
What is the
misunderstanding what I
evidence
said.
that the thing that started everything and brought everything into existence is not natural, and therefore everything beyond that
Sure,
is
I can
evidence
get you
of
there.
the supernatural?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
get you there.
Thank you.
I can
Show us
get you
that.
there. But when you're invoking naturalism, if you're simply saying like naturalism is simply the order of things as they work day to day, what appears to be the normal working of things, physics and so forth, then I would agree with you. But if you're invoking naturalism as somehow uh, uh, without the necessity of God, that there's no ultimate supernatural reason for these things, these workings, then you don't have any basis for that. Now, I'm going to get you there where there is a basis for that. So, not with regards to all things, but only the set of things you perceive to exist. Would you agree that those things have the characteristic of being capable of being perceived by you?
All things that exist?
No, I explicitly said not all things that exist, but only the set of things you perceive to exist.
So not all things, but the things that I can perceive are the things that I can see. Sure.
Okay, so you agree that those things have the characteristic ontologically of being capable of being perceived by you, correct?
That the things I perceive are able to be perceived by me. Sure.
Okay, that they have that characteristic ontologically?
Sure.
Okay. Now, are you the cause of all things outside of yourself, all the galaxies, stars, all the atoms
No.
in the universe, everybody on Earth?
No.
Okay. So, since you're able to perceive these things because they have the characteristic of being capable of being perceived by you, ontologically so, then that invokes the metaphysic of intelligibility. If you look up the definition of intelligibility, you'll see that it's the state of being intelligible. If you look that up, you'll see that it exists as an abstract thing. If you look that up, you'll see that it necessitates a mind for its very existence. So since you've just admitted that it's not your mind that is instantiated and imposing the very ontological characteristic of intelligibility itself with regards to all things that are outside of yourself, but instead you're just observing and perceiving these things, then that means that there's some mind that is instantiating and imposing the very ontological intelligibility of all these things that you're perceiving. So,
Not necessarily. Not if it's
okay,
natural.
so,
Again, you have to show that it's not
okay,
natural.
okay. So let me ask you this question. With regards to abstract things, does it necessitate a mind?
Abstract in what way? Like concepts or abstracts
Yeah.
as what I would call nature versus
Yes,
actual creation.
abstracts such as experience, knowledge, ideas,
Okay, and you're asking me what if the mind is
the
needed for
the
that? Yeah.
the the ability to be intelligible.
If the mind is needed for that, yeah.
Right. So then you've already admitted it's not your mind that's causing this. You're just perceiving and observing this, but you're not the cause of the ontological intelligibility itself. And yet a mind is necessary because it exists as an abstract thing, and you just admitted that abstract things necessitate a mind.
No, no,
So
no,
by
no,
your
no,
own
no.
admission,
No,
God does
no. I
exist,
did not
and
actually.
God is the reason why everything that you're perceiving has that ontological intelligibility, whereby you're capable of being able to perceive it.
So, first of all, is this tag? Because if so, then oh my god, it's terrible.
Well, what's your rebuttal for it?
And yeah, okay. The fact that you misrepresented what I said, I made a very clear distinction. That are you saying from the supernatural sense, or from my sense of what's understanding of what is natural versus a creation? I see the stars in the universe as something coming from something natural, whereas something like my TV remote is a creation, and I can demonstrate the creation of a TV remote, but I cannot demonstrate the creation of a universe.
No, hold on.
So,
You're not addressing
hold on,
the
hold
argument
on.
I just made.
Please, I let you speak. Let me speak. So the difference is, when, from my perspective, what I'm telling you is that I can understand how a mind is necessary for the things that I can perceive, like my TV remote, because I have evidence that it is a creation. But something like a tree, something like the air, something like the clouds and stuff like that, I cannot say that up there, those stars or those planets were the creation of an intelligent mind. You are
You're
the
still
one
not
making that
addressing-
claim. Hold on,
you're
you
not
are the one
addressing my
making that
argument.
claim, and the only thing that you have given as evidence for your claim is, well, things exist because people made them, so the stars exist. Therefore, something must have made that,
I
and
didn't
it
say
has
any
to
of
have
that.
had a mind.
None of that was in my argument.
But that is what
You're
your
not
argument
addressing
is.
anything that I put in my argument. with
Okay,
regards to
then
ontological
tell me how I got the argument wrong.
Yeah, so you're talking about things people create. I didn't say anything about people creating anything. What I said was that with regards to all those things that you're perceiving, you've already admitted that you're not the cause for its very characteristic of being capable of being perceived. You've already admitted that.
And
But
that
there
doesn't do
is
anything
something.
for
Hold
it
on,
being
hold on,
created
hold
by a
on,
mind.
hold on. But there is something that is responsible for that very characteristic of it being capable of being perceived. And we see that that thing has to be a mind, because
Why?
the very characteristic of it being capable of being perceived exists as an abstract thing, and all abstract things necessitate a mind for its very existence. And you've already admitted that abstract things necessitate a mind for its very existence. Therefore, by your
Abstract
own
things
admission,
in the sense of perception.
hold
So
on,
my
hold on,
mind
hold on,
perceives the planet.
hold
Not
on,
that the
hold on.
planet being perceived means that it was made by a mind.
Hold on. With regards to the state of being intelligible, is that a concrete or abstract thing?
As far as our minds working through intelligence,
No, we're not
Is it a
talking
concept
about.
thing?
We're not talking about your intelligence, my intelligence. We're simply talking about the state of being intelligible.
it needs a
And
mind.
you've already
Yes.
admitted that with regards to things outside of yourself, it has this state ontologically in regards of yourself. In other words, you're not instantiating and imposing that state. You've already admitted that you're not the cause of that. So
I'm not the
therefore,
cause of planets existing or
so
the universe
therefore-
existing, but that doesn't mean that something else with a mind made it. I have the mind because I'm able to
We're
perceive
not
it.
talking about, sir, we're not talking about making anything. We're simply talking about
Okay,
the
Catholic,
very
Catholic,
ontological
please.
intelligibility of the thing itself existing, whereby you're not the cause of ontological intelligibility. You've already admitted you're not the cause of ontological intelligibility, and yet ontological intelligibility does exist, And we see that it necessitates a mind, which is not your mind because you're not the cause
What
of it.
What do you mean by ontological intelligibility?
I've said that how many times already? I've gone into that how many times already?
What do you mean by ontological
Once again,
intelligibility?
ontological intelligibility is simply the state of being intelligible whereby the thing itself has the characteristic of being capable of being perceived by you, whereby you're not the cause of that characteristic. You're just observing and perceiving the thing.
Okay, and my
because it
my
has that-
understanding of
Hold
what
on,
you just
hold on.
said,
You asked me about ontological intelligibility. Why cut me off?
because I want to make sure I'm following along with you. I'm sorry
Okay,
if me
go
wanting
ahead.
to be clear
Go
with
ahead.
you is bad.
Go ahead.
Okay, my understanding of what you just said is that with my mind being able to process the intelligence of understanding what I perceive, that makes sense. But that just because something is able to be perceived does not mean that a mind made that. It's saying that I have a mind because I can see it and perceive it.
Okay, so
Do you agree with that or
hold
no?
on. So hold on. No, I disagree with that.
Okay. Well, that's what
because-
I'm saying. So
Right,
I didn't
so-
admit to anything you said. Whatever you're saying, this is
So,
what I am saying.
Okay, so you're saying that doesn't mean that anything is causing the ontological intelligibility. Well, then how do you explain ontological intelligibility existing? How do you explain it? And you're not God, worldview.
Yeah, it's because we have minds, we have brains, and so
No, you've
therefore
already
we
admitted
have
you're
that.
not the cause of ontological intelligibility. So again, how do you
Yeah,
explain
but the fact,
ontological
that we
intelligibility
have
existing?
brains in our minds are the thing
No,
is that
no,
me
it's not
myself
your
as an
brain that is the
individual.
cause. You've already admitted
Catholic,
that.
please. I'm answering your question. I said that me myself as an individual is not responsible for all of it, but the fact that our brains as a collective are. That's the difference.
Okay, so
I'm
if
saying that
everybody
me
vanished-
myself as an individual.
So if everybody else vanished on Earth and you were the only one on Earth,
Sure,
you're telling
then
me
it would.
that you would. Hold on,
sure.
hold
Then
on. I didn't get my question out. Allow me to get my question out. No need to get triggered. Okay.
I'm not being triggered.
So
I'm
if
trying to answer
everybody
your
else
question.
vanished on Earth, and you're the last man standing on Earth, okay, you're telling me that you wouldn't be able to perceive things like the stars and a tree
Why would I
or
not
remote
be able to
control?
perceive things? How does that go against anything I just said?
because you just told me you have to be a collective in order to perceive things.
That's not what I said. Oh my god.
Okay. So what?
No, my God. Oh my gosh.
what is the
How is this so
collective
hard for you to
hold on.
understand?
What is the
Hold on.
collective
I'm going to
necessary
explain this
for?
again. I'm going to explain this again very slowly. So, when it comes to the fact that this ontology, I'm sorry, when it comes to the fact that, yes, me as an individual, my perception of things doesn't necessarily mean the objective standard for anything. But the fact that the human mind, and even just minds in general, not even just humans, are able to perceive things and work and gather intelligence through that, that is what we're talking about, that the fact that it does exist. Me, my own individual brain, because what if I was...
Wait, what does
so
exist?
hold on.
What does exist?
Hold on.
You said
me,
it does
myself,
exist.
what if I was... intelligence. What if I was brain
No,
damaged?
we're not
And
talking about intelligence.
please
My
pay
mind is-
attention.
Sir,
So what if I was
we're
brain
not talking
damaged
about
and
intelligence.
and the part of my brain that was able to perceive the things around me and be
Hold
able
on.
to work through
You're
that?
creating a straw
wasn't
man
working.
argument. My argument
So-
had nothing to do with intelligence.
Okay, all right, fine. Let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. You're saying that the reason we know that there is a God is because it's an intelligent mind that created things like the universe. Show me the evidence of that. Because so
Yes,
far,
yes.
all you've
Yes.
done is say, well, things around you were made.
Okay.
So
I'll
you
go
can't-
through it
can't
with
say
you
that there
again
isn't.
slowly. I'll go through it again with you slowly. You've already admitted that you're not the cause of ontological intelligibility. Okay? And I explained to you what ontological intelligibility is. It's simply the characteristic of those things outside of yourself that you're perceiving, whereby it has the characteristic of being capable of being perceived by you, but you're not the cause of that characteristic. You're simply observing and perceiving it. You've already admitted that you're not the cause.
I understand that I am not the cause of making my PlayStation perceivable to
We're
me.
not talking
Hold
about
on,
making
hold on,
anything.
Hold on.
There was nothing about making anything in my argument.
I that's not what I said either. If you had paid attention.
Stop with the straw man answers.
I didn't say anything about making a PlayStation.
You
Pay
just
attention.
said making. You just used the word making.
Okay,
I didn't
so
say anything about making
I
anything.
I
in my
agree that
argument.
I am not the one who made something
We're not talking about making
perceivable.
anything.
Pay attention. Perceivable to me. That
Okay.
doesn't mean that another mind out there made that thing
Oh,
perceivable
well.
to me.
Well,
You
then-
still have to show how you're
Great.
getting to this supernatural mind,
Great, great.
making
So-
things perceivable to us.
Great. So
That's
since
all
you
I've been
admit-
saying.
Great. So since you admit you're not the cause of ontological intelligibility, and yet we see that ontological intelligibility exists as an abstract thing, which you already admitted necessitates a mind for its very existence. So since you're not the cause of that thing, which is ontological intelligibility, and yet a mind is the cause of ontological intelligibility, which is not your mind because you've already admitted that, then that means that that mind is the mind of God. Now, if you try to say, oh, no, it's the collective of all humans.
How do you get there?
Well, hold on. If you try to say, no, it's the collective of all humans, like you tried to do earlier, and then I say, well, wait a second. What if all humans cease to exist?
I didn't say it was the collective of all humans. You misunderstood me. What I was talking about is the fact that human beings and also non-human beings have brains, that have minds, that perceive things and work through that intelligibility. Therefore, we all take part in it. But not one individual mind is responsible for everyone being able to perceive everything.
So are you saying
So that is what I'm
yeah.
trying to say, and I'm trying to ask you, how are you
Well, hold
getting
on.
to
I
this
need
God mind
clarification.
that does make everything
Okay,
perceivable?
I
to
need
everyone?
clarification from you. Is it your position that the collective of all minds on earth that are perceiving things are responsible for ontological intelligibility?
That all the minds on earth perceiving things are
Yeah,
responsible?
the collective of all minds.
That so okay. Are you asking me that all the minds on earth, are they responsible for everything being able to be
Yeah,
perceived?
are the collective minds of all the minds on earth responsible for ontological intelligibility?
For everything being able to be perceived, correct?
Yeah, the characteristic
Okay.
of being capable of being perceived.
No,
Okay, great.
I wouldn't think so.
Therefore, we've ruled out you. We ruled out all the other minds on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all the different minds, humans, animals, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, there's still a mind that is responsible for ontological
How do you get there?
intelligibility.
How do you
Because
get there?
I'm trying to explain to you, and I've said it numerous times already, but I'll repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Because ontological intelligibility exists as an abstract thing, whereby you've already admitted all abstract things necessitate a mind for its very existence. And so therefore, since you've already ruled out you and all other creatures on earth as being responsible for ontological intelligibility, and yet there's still a mind that's necessary with regards to ontological intelligibility, then there's only one mind left, and that's the mind of God.
So first of all, I wouldn't say that there's only one mind left, and that's the mind of God.
Name another mind
hold
that
on,
could do
hold
it.
on, hold on.
What's the other mind?
But I'm still not getting to where you get us to a God, because again, just
Hold on.
because
Name the other mind if it's not God.
hold on, I just let you speak. Let me speak. So again, just because minds are able to partake in perceiving things and interpreting them intelligently does not mean that just because something exists means that it was created by a mind to be perceived.
Yeah, you've
You
already
still
admitted
have to show
because
the
it exists
evidence
as an
of
abstract
that.
thing. Yeah, you've already admitted to it because you've already admitted abstract things necessitate a mind, and so obviously that mind.
Things
is
like
God.
things like perception mean
Yeah, so
that
you
mean that a
can't go
mind
ahead
needs
and give
to
me any
view
other
them.
mind that's
The
responsible
mind
for
that
that.
is viewing them is
So you've
us
admitted God
or
exists.
the animals
so
or
this is
other
getting redundant.
things.
You've already admitted God exists. So
Please
you have
stop
a
cutting
good
me
day,
off.
sir.
So the mind that goes through the perceptions are us, the animals,
Anyway,
or other
I gotta
things
go.
that
But
have
thank
a
you
brain.
for admitting that God exists.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for giving a shitty argument for your case. Do better next time. All right.